Hi, folks. It is Friday, July 19th. I'm saying hi from Beasley, Washington, D.C. area, and I'm trying to get over here to Justin from working outside. Hey, Larry, you ready to go? I've already announced the date, and let me get you on speaker, and okay, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Only got a few minutes. But as I leave today, first off, James Baker has flipped on Comey and the crew that were involved in the FISA court. Now, what does that mean? It means that you now have proof that they knew that the dossier was bogus for the very first, and they used it to get the FISA warrants, which is against the law. The rule is, or the law is, when you sign that FISA warrant to the FISA court, you swear in the test that everything is true. Comey signed, Rosenstein signed, anyway, the whole cast of characters. And I still got you, Mary on. Are we still on?
Yes, you are.
Okay. And this leads to breaking the back of the coup having to do with the FISA warrants. Now, having said that, it's imperative if we want justice brought. It's going to be imperative that Trump win in 2020. Because even with his sworn state, even with the proffer that he's offered, the proffer that's his written state, there's still not a million to get into that we can have any trust or faith in. But just know the rats are starting to desert the ship. There are 3 more people that I assure you I will be announcing very soon that have flipped as well. They've all got to flip and cover their butts. And that's the only deal they got. Now, having said that, other things going on inside the Democratic Party. Strange thing is happening. You'll notice that you hear about apes seeing what they're calling the squad every day. There's news everywhere. But you know what is not the news? None of the 2020 presidential candidates for the Democratic Party are able to buy 1 minute worth of news time. So the Democrats are in a total state of panic. Now, I'm not telling you this so you get overconfident that Trump's going to win. I'm not saying it that way at all. But I am telling you that they've got big-time problems. Pelosi's called a special meeting, which nobody's supposed to know about, and which she and some of the other senior members of Congress are having a meeting with AOC and the squad. And they're going to officially ask them to quit because they're destroying the oxygen for any of the candidates that are running for president. And I already know what the squad's going to say in return. I'll bet, I don't know it, but I can bet you. They're going to tell Pelosi and the senior members to stick it. They think they're on a roll. years, Lord, because proof is surfacing. Proof is surfacing that she faked marriage.
No, that's Omar. That's Omar.
I'm sorry. Omar's ears are going to be lower because of her fake marriage. And the fact that she married her brother anyway, it's just a long, complicated morass. But it's fixing to be exposed. Big time. So you see, guys, stuff is happening. Stuff is happening fast. If the Mueller goes next week before the committee, if he actually testifies before the committee, I can assure you, I can assure you, it's not going to go the way the Democrats and Mueller think it's going to go. There are some surprises Mr. Mueller's going to run into that he never even dreamed would come up. So you must keep the faith. Keep the faith. Right now, the Democrats, the presidential candidates in their primary should be 100% of the news every day. That helps them launch their campaign. That's the point of a competitive primary. A competitive primary, whoever comes out winning has a tremendous amount of public awareness towards the name ID, the whole 9 yards. For as long as AOC and the squad keep doing what they're doing, then they're losing that benefit. And that's a major part of your campaign strategy. And having said all of that, painting a rosy picture, let me assure you we are close to being in a lot of trouble. Many of you should know by now, or may know by now, that the judge declined Epstein's request to be let out on bail. The reason for that's not what you think. It's not because he poses a serious flight risk. He does, but that's not what it is. This whole Epstein case in New York is designed to get at Trump. And by keeping Epstein in jail, I have found out their plan. By keeping Epstein in jail, they intend to force him to incriminate President Trump. How do you like that? So,
Even falsely, Larry?
I'm sorry?
Even to do it falsely?
He did. He has been presented to Epstein if he wants out of jail and if he wants protection in his case. And he is to point out that Trump participated. Now, ordinarily you say, well, but if he can't prove it, it won't do any good. I think all of y'all now know that doesn't matter. The accusation will be significant enough against Trump, and you'll hear it every day from now till election day. So guys, what you see again usually has very little to do with the truth. Very little. So Mary, let's take questions right quick before they come. And let me have to get off.
We don't have any yet. If anybody has a question, type it in right now, please. I know the sound isn't clear. We're doing the best we can, folks. I've got the volume turned up full blast on both my phone and computer. So,
I'm giving it all I've got.
and we can't have Larry push any harder, or it'll cause problems. So, no questions.
No question. All right, folks. You better hear me. They're going to start claiming that Trump can't be beat. Don't you believe it? Don't you believe it? They're going to start saying that to make the soft vote stay home. President Trump can be defeated. He can be defeated. And just remember the facts. The facts are he's running against the Democrats. He's running against Republicans that want him out. He's running against the media. And he's up and he's got one of the biggest challenges any president has ever had to go through to get reelected. But they're going to play the mind games on you. They're going to start claiming. And, they're in trouble. And they are. I'm not saying they're not. With AOC and that crowd pulling the stuff they're doing, yes, it is. It's hurting the Democratic candidates that are running for president. It certainly is. And the lack of any news coverage during their primary, the lack of any news coverage right now is detrimental to them. I'm not going to lie and tell you it's not. It is detrimental. But remember, this race is about which side can get their soft base to participate, to vote. It all comes down to that.
And they're working so hard to make sure their soft base does. So we have got to work as well. There's one comment here, Larry. Somebody is expecting that Epstein will be Arkancided to keep him quiet.
No, will not. They will use Epstein. They are going to use Epstein. That's one of the things, if you didn't know, that they plan to use him to go after Trump, then there is a good chance he might have had an Arkansas. But now all he's got to do is come up with a plausible story connecting Trump to these activities, and he gets to get out of jail free pass.
Another question, do you think Hillary will run?
No, I did not. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. So put this in the category once again of my opinion. My opinion is she will not run. Now, I don't know. Does anybody know what the filing deadline is for the Democratic Party primary? Anybody know for president?
I do not. I'm not sure what a reverse Arkanside is, but somebody's wondering about a reverse Arkanside against Epstein.
I have no idea.
Okay. What do you think about Michelle running?
Michelle Obama, she won't run. She will not run.
Here's a comment. Nobody.
She won't run because they know that Obama hurt the black vote, hurt the black population, probably more than any president we've had in a long time. And so she's not going to run.
Okay, here's a question. You think Epstein will accuse Trump with no evidence, even though there's so much evidence against Bill and others?
Yes. That's their plan. That is their plan. Remember, this is where we get caught up in the simplicity of law. One set of laws for them, one set of laws, another set for us. They can have pictures of their Clinton with underage girls on that island. But the mainstream media's not going to tell it. So it's not going to get told. Now it might get told on the Wall or Fox in limited places, but that'll all go to the hard votes. Don't go to any soft-faced people at all.
And that's where we've got a problem with the rallies, because they're bringing in the hard vote.
Right. You know, once again, Kennedy, Tucker, Carlson, what's her name? Oh, the lady that comes after Hannity.
Laura Ingraham.
I think Laura Ingraham, Rush Limbaugh, and all of your other favorite talk show hosts, what have you. All of that talks to the hard base. The soft base does not participate in conservative talk radio. So it's pretty simple if you're looking through my eyes. If you see what I do, you see that Epstein's just got to make the allegation. Now, if you don't believe me, I simply remind you to go back to the Kavanaugh confirmation. Go back to the Kavanaugh confirmation. There's your best example. You prove positive, Clinton what those women were quote unquote claiming Kavanaugh did. There's proof, there's evidence, abundant evidence that Bill did. You notice his name never got even mentioned. The people making the charges against Kavanaugh, and one woman that was quote unquote such a series that caused the hearing in the first place testified that they knew even before the hearing that her people that she claimed witnessed that they knew didn't know anything about it. They knew it was all bogus. But they raped that poor man over cold. So don't confuse with duplicity of law. That they have got to follow any standard of fairness or equity because they don't.
Okay, here's a good question. Here's a question I can answer. Won't the soft base still vote for Trump in 2020 as they did in 2016? Who else will the soft votes vote for? They're just going to stay home, not vote for anybody.
That's right. I'm not much worried, folks, that Trump's soft base would vote for anybody else. But as Mary Ellen told me, the battle we have is actually harder than if they would vote for somebody else. We got to make them vote. They've got to get them to turn out and vote. And you've got to remember that very Democrats are working on their soft base hard, as hard, if not harder, but they're using sweeteners. They're using tricks to make difference. Say, what's a society, come out and vote. Republicans can't do that or won't do that.
And if they're trying to run Trump's campaign on the economy, and you've heard that they plan to crash the Wall Street 2 months before the election, then there goes their whole campaign strategy.
some degree to what we do in our program. Because if you notice, he is pushing his campaign just like he should towards socialism. He's doing a masterful job of staying in the fight where AOC is the squad. See, that's brilliant. By doing that, he's branding the whole Democratic Party. He's branding them just as if they were the AOC and the squad people. And by keeping that feud going, he keeps all of the Democratic candidates off the air. They can't get any oxygen. That squad is all the oxygen in the room out of the media. It's nothing there.
Because it's so interesting to listen to the crazy things they say. Everybody's just shaking their head.
The media has bought into a hook, line, and sinker. They have
That's the one thing we have going for Trump, right?
tried. But for all Trump is or is not, you have to give him credit for knowing how to play the media better than any president I've ever seen, including Ronald Reagan. He's using the media and playing them like a Stradivarius. And then fight every step of the way trying to hurt him. Anybody else will have to go.
No, that's it. Just a thank you for everything, Larry.
Well, don't thank you yet, but keep fighting. I will deliver the other three. There will be 3 more people flipped over the price. The problem is, as I told you, finding a judicial venue to put them in front of when you get a fair trial.
Didn't you say that the Senate is sitting on some good judges that could help us get a fair trial? And they refuse to appoint them?
Yeah.
Or
They
confirm
have
them?
judges waiting to get confirmation now. They have confirmed a lot of judges. Don't get me wrong, for Trump, he's confirmed a lot of judges, but they're in areas that don't have purview over Washington, D.C. on stuff that's done. And they're guarding those positions with their lives, folks.
Am I allowed to ask you what I asked about Adam, or observed about Adam Schiff the other day? Okay, I did get a chance to ask Larry. I said, I noticed that we haven't heard anything about Adam Schiff when he took over as the head of the Intelligence Committee with all the investigations they were doing. He was so aggressive in the beginning, and suddenly he's so quiet.
I responded to Mary Ellen's question by saying that it was just going to get a lot quieter soon.
It'd be nice if we could just get him to go away. I don't mean permanently, but I mean go away from the House. Yeah, be careful with how I said how that came out sounding. I just mean it'd be nice if he would step aside and you know, have a different election to put somebody else in his place.
That's not outside of the realm of possibilities now.
Yeah, who?
Adam Schiff is his dirty, idiot politician in Washington.
Well, I think there's quite a few that he's competing with.
Yeah. Folks, I want you to be hardened, but I want you to be dedicated. Remember, You know, it's not just the rich people. Remember this, there are a lot of people in Middle America, blue-collar workers, that right now, their 401ks, their retirement programs, look better than they've ever looked. But when they change the market, all of a sudden, everybody that's got a 401k or some sort of retirement package, when they see the market go to a nosedive, their dollars in that 401k is going to drop. It's going to drop horribly. People are going to panic. And we blame it on Trump. Why? Because the media is going to say it's all Trump's fault. And that's all they're going to hear from the media, these pundits, supposed pundits, these experts.
So, folks, that's an important talking point that we start talking about now and keep talking about, because if we let people know that this is their plan, it doesn't come as such a shock when it happens, because we've been talking about this is the intended effect that they want to have to keep Trump from winning. And that's why it's so important that we talk to anybody and everybody who will listen, because if the soft base doesn't vote, we're in trouble. And I hear the Facebook groups, for example, that I'm in, talk so much about God has said Trump's going to win. And we know he's going to win because we're praying and all these things. That may be true. But if the votes don't come in, God's will cannot be done. And you know there are times when God's will is thwarted. And God works through people. Yes, something supernatural could happen, but that is not normally the way he works. He works through people. So we have got to vote. And I would ask you to please join me when you hear people saying Trump's got this and so on, to remind them God works through people. You have to vote if you want that to be fulfilled. So who will the Democrats put forward to vote for if the economy tanks? It doesn't matter, does it? It'd be whoever they want.
Well, the Democrats are going to put forward to be who they pick. This is going to happen during the general election. So they will have picked their nominee for whoever is the Democratic Party person.
Their candidate.
Candidate. That's who's going to benefit.
And Dave says,
and I may be wrong, it's my opinion, but that cast of just general, is serious nutbags. Don't be surprised if it's still not Biden. Biden is about the only one right now that I see in the lineup of the Democrats. He's the only one that can claim a somewhat of a centrist general election. Most all of the other candidates that they did, it's going to be so obvious that they're the extreme left that it would hurt. You know, people in America are tired of this takeover by these radical left-wingers like AOC and that crowd. They're tired of it and getting tired. So the Democrats, I assure you, the deep state Democrats, they're still going to be looking to Biden. Now, another thing's going to happen. We don't hear much about it. But the word that I'm getting, Bernie Sanders is already mad as hell. Because they have influence already that we know, once again, he will not be the Democratic nominee for president. And I can let him have it.
what about about Tulsi? I've heard she's done a phenomenal job in raising money with big money people.
Chelsea, Clinton.
Tulsi Gabbard.
No, I don't. No, she's nothing. Nothing. There's not a candidate in the Democratic Party that looks anywhere like a true presidential candidate. You know, anybody disagree with that?
Including Biden.
And none of them look like a legitimate candidate for the presidency of the United States of America.
Well, I think that's why so many of us are wondering who do they have in the wings that's going to come out as the one to rescue the party at the last minute. And that's why people keep asking, will they dare pull Hillary out one more time?
None of them will do it because they blame Hillary for Trump being elected in the first place. She mismanaged her campaign. She caused them. We would already be a full-throated socialist country in accordance with the plans they've had since 1986 that I know of, that I worked on. They've already blown their time because of Hillary Clinton. They do not want her to rise again. They don't. And a big part of Trump's victory, and they know it, wasn't people voting for Donald Trump. A big part of Trump's vote were people voting against Hillary.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have done an okay job of finally getting the truth out to the people about the real Hillary. And now this is why I keep telling you, this is a strange election cycle for the presidency. More bizarre than any I've ever seen. Maybe it's more bizarre than any I've ever even heard of.
We live in strange times, that's for sure. Here's a question. What about Meghan Markle? Isn't she Prince Harry's wife? Was she previously involved with Epstein and that group?
Oh, I do not know.
Okay.
Don't know anything about that.
Okay. Well, it's been half an hour, Larry.
Well, the last thing I guess I need to address with y'all is apparently we shot down an Iranian drone. And it wasn't that we shot it down, folks. It was the technology that was used for the first time to bring that thing down. It was a new weapon designed to degauss.
To what?
All the degauss to screw up all the electronics on the aircraft. And it worked. Trump made a good point. I heard a little bit of playback of his rally the other night. He made a good point. The media always harps on this leader of another country that like Trump. This leader of another country, whatever. And Trump was right. We don't want them liking Trump. We don't. Trump represents us. When these foreign leaders start liking our president, that's when you know our president's been cruising their palms. Almost 100% of the time at the expense of Americans.
Mm-hmm.
So no, we don't want leaders necessarily liking Trump. of that drone without any collateral damage. He was able to unveil to the world that we have a new technology, a new weapon. To my knowledge, as far as I'm told, nobody else in the world has this technology that may be developing it, but they don't have it ship ready to go on the ship and use it. That's the benefit of what President Trump has done by rebuilding our military. This technology would be built for another 20 years under Obama or Bush. By the time we did build it under those types of administrations, our enemy countries would already have them up and working.
Now, I heard somebody last night saying that they thought it was a missile that took it out. Now,
Electronic jamming device.
that's what I heard. That's what I heard this morning. I'm just telling you what I heard last night versus this morning.
And of course, Iran's doing what Iran always does. They're denying that anything was even shut down. So with that, guys, I've got to get off.
Okay, thank you. And folks, before you all leave, please remember Larry needs some help. We're facing the weekend. We don't have a show to talk to you about how he's doing. I will come on if there's an emergency. If he tells me to come on, I will, I'm available all weekend. So if necessary, we will be back here and you'll hopefully get the notice. His PayPal is nicholslive@aol.com. The website nicholslive.com has the direct link to the PayPal. It has his address to send cash in the mail. He cannot cash a check. He cannot cash a money order. The only way to send him anything, if you're not using PayPal, is cash in the mail. If you need another way to help, then use the phone number there and send a text message, 240-499-6729. But the best way to help Larry is through PayPal, Nichols Live, L-I-V as in Victor, L-I-V-E, Nichols Live at AOL.com.
And guys, I wish I could tell you what all I'm working on as best I can. But I can't. I just know.
But Larry, look at how many things you have told us today that we have not heard in the news. So that's, well, I mean, well, we certainly haven't heard anything about what James Baker's done with a proffer. So Larry has the inside scoop. He has told us that he's working on things that he can't tell us about. So I think that right there shows that he is an important person to pour some money into and make a sacrifice for, because if anything happens and we don't get Trump elected, whatever you are trying to hold on to preserve your future will be taken. And it's better to help, in my opinion, help Larry stay in the fight, get things done that give us a better shot at having a future than it is to hold on to what you have and have it lost, and then it's too late. So that's my opinion, folks.
Well, and I hope you all understand that if the Democrats win the presidency, they'll win the Senate. When they have the presidency, the Senate, and the House, we will become a socialist country. And one of the first things that they always do when socialism takes over a country, the first thing that always happens is it nationalizes the banks. And that's a broad way of saying they take all your money. You don't have it anymore. But get it. You get busted.
And that's,
Good day. Yeah.
yeah, it's not just the poor that'll lose all their money. If you're not part of the ruling elite, you lose it too. So if you've got money, it's important to use it wisely right now, which I think would be helping Larry, but that's my opinion. Use it now to make sure that there's something left later.
Okay. Love you all. Help if you can. I need it.
All right, thanks, Larry.
Talk to you later.
Okay, bye. Folks, I have no idea where he is. I know he had to make sure he didn't have people coming after him to stop him from talking today. And I'm not really sure what that means, except that that's how I will state it. He is very much working behind the scenes, as he always does, and as he has for years. And if you want to know some of the things he does behind the scenes, he has described them in 28 Years to Nowhere. That is something he can talk about that he did many years ago, and it's public knowledge, and other people had come to him for the information so that they could write about it themselves. Roger Stone, there's just a lot of people who have come to Larry for information, and Jerome Corsi and so on have asked for his help to write books about the time that Larry knows a lot about. And he's been very much involved for a very long time. He told us a couple years ago that that there used to be a time when he was the one that went and did the orientation for both the New Democrats and the Republicans that came into Congress. The freshmen coming in, he would do their orientation. The Republicans were told verbally that they had to follow the party line. This is how it goes now. You are here now. What you did and what you promised to get here doesn't matter. Forget about your campaign. All you did with those promises was just a way to get elected. Has nothing to do with anything once you get here. And all they are supposed to do is raise money for the party and vote the way you're told to vote. And he's talked about the chit system and how, I owe you, therefore, when you call in your chit, then I have to vote the way you need me to vote, even if I disagree with it. And the difference with the Democrats is they follow all that I just said, but they have to sign it in writing. And the way our government runs, I think if we knew more about what was really going on, we would be absolutely appalled. They do not represent us as our founding fathers intended for them to do. And we've got some big problems. So we need people replaced. I strongly recommend that you get trained in how to register people to vote so that you can help get more Republicans voting. And I don't know who that is. I can't take a call right now. We need to get more Republicans registered. You can also go through training to be an election judge. It's an interesting process. I learned an awful lot when I did that in 2016. I was too busy last year helping Larry with what we're doing to be able to, get involved in that. But I highly recommend it. You do get paid for being part of the election process. Knock on doors. Find a candidate that you support and help knock on doors and distribute information, talk to people. Knocking on doors is a way to do that. I went to our campaign headquarters and I made phone calls. They have a list. They even had a script. All we had to do was dial the number and read the script. And whether that was talking to somebody or just reading it into an answering machine, please, folks, get involved. We need more of us getting involved, because believe me, the Democrats are so incredibly organized. I'm absolutely horrified at the contrast to how little our side does. So please get involved in your party. I know a lot of the party is deep state, and we will disagree as conservatives with a lot of the things even the Republican Party does, depending on where you live. I live in a very blue county, so my precinct is, I'm in one of the few conservative enclaves in my county, but it's still an issue. And talking to Democrats and mentioning something about, if the Democrats win, you need to switch your vote this time because we will have socialism. Oh, no, no, it'll come in so gradually that it's not going to be a problem. Well, won't be a problem. You'll be shocked, and then it'll be too late. Doesn't matter to be shocked after it happens. If it's too late, it's too late. So we've got to spread the word. Thank you, folks. Once again, Larry's PayPal account is nicholslive@aol.com. He does need funds to keep going through the weekend. Let me tell you, his lungs are doing fabulously. He is improving dramatically. I got to see him on a video call last weekend, and he couldn't be on very long because he needed to go lie down and all. But I noticed that he was not on his oxygen, and he says, well, it's hard to talk with the oxygen machine running. But it was significant, and I did text him yesterday and asked about that, and he said yes, that this is an indication of how much better he is doing. He's got some other issues that need to be addressed that are creating problems, and part of it is the stress of what's going on. I mean, he's been warned that assassins are coming after him again, and they have. And folks, what he goes through to try and do what he is doing on our behalf, to make sure that our children have the country that we are intended to have, that God wants us to have. I mean, I don't even know much about what's going on in his life, but the little I know leaves me absolutely stunned at what he does for us. And so when I ask you to give sacrificially, I'm not asking you to do anything equal, let alone beyond what I have done. I'm not. But do something. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. And I will talk to you over the weekend if there's an emergency or urgent news you need to know. Otherwise, we'll talk on Monday. We will have the conference call at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 Central tonight. The number and the text message number are listed in the description under the video here. So thank you very much. God bless you. Bye-bye.